You want me to do the intro?
No.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another edition of From the Rough, America's favorite golf podcast here on FanStream Sports, presented by OrionGolf.com. I am your host, the only host, and the best host of From the Rough, J. John E. Gerber, PGA professional. Over 20 years PGA professional. How was that? Was that good? How was that?
I think I might record that and just play that for every intro. Hello and welcome into another From the Rough right here on FanStream Sports, presented by our good friends at OrionGolf.com. The nation's leader in golf facilities management assistance. Head over to OrionGolf.com if you are a member of a country club running the thing, if you are it's a golf course, municipal country club, I don't know, a par 3 course, a driving range, any golf facility. Our good friends over at Orion Golf can help you out. OrionGolf.com. It is time to take a breath. Take a deep breath, boys and girls. Let's collect ourselves. Let's gather our thoughts after a massively incredible weekend of golf that was I couldn't keep up with. I had a hard time keeping up with it, partly because of the golf, partly because of weather issues related to some of the golf. But it's time to talk about it. Let's recap all 4 championships that we had over the weekend. Scottish Open, the Evian Championship, the ISCO, and the Cowlid Companies Championship as we say goodbye to a legendary golf course this weekend as well. I am IndyCarTim, your host. As you will notice, there's no PGA of America member John Gerber because it is once again, boys and girls, as golf takes priority over the show, Johnny is out on drunk golf assignment, probably wasted right now on hole, I don't know what hole he's on. As we run through this thing solo for you, which means there will be nobody here to correct my swing theories. There will be nobody here to defend my course management or calmly explain why laying up is sometimes an intelligent decision. Johnny's not here to do that. And by the way, as I mentioned, what an incredible weekend of golf we just witnessed. Tom Kim announced that reports of his disappearance were greatly exaggerated. Haeran Ryu survived, I probably butchered her name, I apologize, survived one of the wildest major championship finishes you will ever see. Maybe cementing my theory, my prediction, my statement that the LPGA might be taking over the PGA as the number one, tour as far as viewership quality, viewership excitement goes. We'll get into that here in a little bit, but Zach Johnson turned Firestone's farewell into a 6-shot funeral procession, and Stephen Fisk lights it up, and what a playoff that looked less like a golf exhibition, more like 2 guys trapped in a phone booth swinging their elbows at each other. Just what it looked like to me. So let's get into it. Let's start with Tom Kim. And let's start in Scotland, where Tom Kim didn't just win the Scottish Open. He reminded everybody who the hell he is, because we might have forgotten. Shoots a final round 64 at the Renaissance Club, finished 17 under, beating Minwoo Lee, Johnny's future brother-in-law, by 2 strokes for the 4th PGA Tour victory of his career. And no, this wasn't some backdoor win where the leaders collapsed, the weather flipped the script, and somebody stumbled into the trophy presentation. This was Tom Kim absolutely going out and taking this championship. Because of Saturday's fog delay, he had to play 29 holes on Sunday. 29 holes. Johnny can't fit 29 holes into a weekend. I've watched him try. Most of us are emotionally exhausted after losing 3 balls during 9 holes at our local municipal course. Tom Kim completed his 3rd round and then started his final round 1 shot behind Lee, Matt Fitzpatrick, and Robert McIntyre, and then basically told all 3 of those guys to enjoy the view from behind me. They never caught him. Kim made just one bogey during his final 51 holes. I'll repeat that. Tom Kim made only one bogey during his final 51 holes. In Scotland, with wind, pressure, awkward lies, and a leaderboard loaded with major champions and Ryder Cup players. That's not just good golf, that is suffocation. The defining moments for him came at the par 4, 10th, and 16th holes, I think. Both approaches came from more than 200 yards. Both required a 4-iron, but they demanded completely different shots, which he nailed. At the 10th, he launched a high fade into the wind. At the 16th, he carved a low draw through the terrible conditions. That's the golf equivalent of throwing a 98-mile-an-hour fastball and then coming back with a filthy changeup. And he did both to perfection. Same club, different window, same result. Birdie opportunities on holes where most players would have happily signed for a par and sprinted to the next tee. Those are extremely hard holes. Then throw in the weather that he was dealing with. Then maybe even more impressively, his putter took over. He kept making the uncomfortable par saves, the 6-footers, the 4-footers, the pars that suddenly look 15 feet long when there's a trophy, a massive check, and the Open Championship looming 1 week away. He finally buried a 4-footer at the 18th while Minwoo Lee stood there in the fairway, 2 shots behind and completely out of answers. And that was it. Game over. Tom Kim is now one of only 5 internationally born players to win 4 PGA Tour events before turning 25. The other 4, Rory McIlroy, Adam Scott, Hideki Matsuyama, and Sergio Garcia. Sorry, I said Sergio Garcia. We try not to talk about him on this show. And that's not a random list. That is a list filled with major champions, Ryder Cup legends, and players who have spent years near the top of the sport. Kim's career had cooled a bit. He'd won 3 times during his first 2 professional seasons. Golf moved on because that's what golf does. Golf moves on. 1 week, you're the future of the game. The next week, everybody's talking about another teenager who carries at 330 and has 400,000 Instagram followers. Kim got pushed out of the spotlight. There's no question. But after finishing 3rd at the U.S. Open and now winning in Scotland, he isn't asking for the spotlight back. He is absolutely demanding it and taking it. Minwoo Lee closed with a 67 and finished 2nd at 15 under. Fitzpatrick and McIntyre tied for 3rd at 13 under. Rory shot his own final round 64 and tied for 7th, which probably left him wondering what might have happened without his messy stretch during the fog storm that rolled in on Saturday. When he gave us maybe the quote of all quotes of the century, of 2 centuries, when he hit just a horrendous shot that fell left, and he was caught on the mic right after his shot as he watched it going left. Oh, my God, I'm so bad at golf, which was so great. Go check out my Twitter feed, my X feed, at IndyCarTim. I reposted it. For a minute, Rory was one of us. Oh, my God, I'm so bad at golf. It was so ridiculous that it was funny. And then we had
Scottie Scheffler,
the world's #1 player, missing the cut, ending his streak of 78 consecutive tournaments. Without an early exit. That streak is over. 78 was the number. It is such an absurd number that missing 1 cut almost qualifies as breaking news, and that's how a lot of news organizations, including us over at FanStream Sports, treated it. Breaking news, Scottie's streak is over. But Scheffler's going to be fine. Tom Kim, however, might be dangerous. He now has 4 top 20 finishes in 5 consecutive Scottish Open appearances. He was coming off that 3rd-place finish at the U.S. Open, and now he is arriving at the Open Championship with confidence, with momentum, and a game that clearly travels. And interestingly, for 2 years now, golf has treated Tom Kim like he was yesterday's headline, and on Sunday, he became impossible to ignore. He's back, baby, and I'm here for it. The little tank engine that could. Thomas the Tank Engine. Of course, that's where he got his name, Tom. in case y'all didn't know. He's back, and I'm here for it. Now let's head over to France, where Haeran Ryu, again, I apologize if I butchered her name. I heard it on TV 1,000 times, and I can never say it. Won the Evian Championship, but won, as I throw air quotes up there for you listening to the audio podcast, doesn't really capture what happened. She more or less survived this thing in what I think is one of the greatest golf finishes I have ever seen. And I have been watching golf, my golf conscious brain, I've been watching since the late 70s, but fully golf aware, consciously aware since the early to mid 80s. And to me, this was one of the most exciting, chaotic finishes I have ever seen. Just because of the players involved, you go to a playoff. Playoffs? Yes, a playoff. Ryu defeats Brooke Henderson in a playoff after both finished at 19 under 265. Huh? So what, Tim? Big whoopee. Sounds like a finish of a golf tournament to me. Ryu entered Sunday 1 day removed from shooting a major championship record of 60 and was putting for a 59 and didn't know it. That to me is a big story. She was putting for a 59 and didn't know it. And I talked to Johnny about this, and he's like, no, to me that's shocking that you don't know what you're putting for. I've never been there. Johnny says, you know what? No, a lot of times these players, especially, it's not the final round. You're just trying to shoot the best score you can, and you're not necessarily keeping up with where you're at for a total. She was putting for a 59 and did not know it and almost made it anyway. She finished with a 60 on Saturday, a 60. And then followed it with an even par 71. That's just golf, right? Especially the pressure of a major in France. France. We are from France. If y'all know where that's from, y'all are my best friends. One day the cup looks like a swimming pool, and the next day every 4-footer looks like you're trying to roll a marble into a mailbox slot. She played nearly the entire final round on Sunday without a birdie. Think about that. No birdies the entire round until the par 5 18th. She birdied to reach a 19 under that forced the playoff, and that looked like it might be enough. Brooke Henderson began the final round 7 shots behind. She made an eagle at the 7th. She stepped onto the par 3 8th and made a hole-in-one. Eagle. An eagle followed by an ace. That's not a comeback. That is somebody entering a cheat code in between holes. Henderson kept coming and eventually reached the 18th, needing another eagle to force a playoff. And it was never in question. It was never in question if she was going to score an eagle. After her tee shot, perfect. After her approach shot, perfect. And then the eagle on the final hole to force extra holes. It was completely ridiculous. And all 3 of these players were playing in the same group. The final group, the 3 players, Aki Iwai was your 3rd player I'm referencing here. She had an opportunity to make a birdie putt and join the playoff, but she missed. Could have had a 3-way playoff with an eagle and 2 birdies on 18. And let's not miss out on the fact that while Brooke Henderson was contending, I think it was the 17th, she bogeyed? Triple bogeyed? Whatever it was. To fall short, to fall back of the lead. And then coming through like she did on 18 was just absolutely ridiculous. And then you have, again, Ryu and Henderson eagling, Ryu birdieing, and Iwai barely missing her birdie putt. still her best finish ever in a major, by the way. And you think the chaos is stopping at this point. You go to the extra hole. Henderson missed the fairway left, and she had to lay up. Ryu reached the right side of the green in 2, leaving herself a long eagle putt, but more importantly, creating a massive advantage over Henderson, who, again, missed the fairway. Henderson's third shot didn't find the green. It missed, and she couldn't chip it in for a birdie. Meanwhile, Ryu just needed to 2-putt, which she calmly sank. Major championship over. Ryu earns her first Evian title, $1.365 million, and 650 race to the CME Globe points. Henderson played the round that everybody will replay. Ryu hit the shots that actually won the tournament. Golf doesn't award trophies for the wildest highlight package, unfortunately, or Henderson would have won that hands down. But it does reward the player who survives the final hole, and that was Ryu. Her 60 will live forever in major championship history, but what she did Sunday might have been even more impressive. She didn't have her best game. She couldn't find the same scoring rhythm. She watched Henderson turn into a human fireworks display and still found one birdie when she absolutely had to have it, and then executed 2 quality shots in the playoff. Sometimes winning is about dominating. Sometimes it's about hanging on while everyone around you loses their minds. Haeran Ryu did both. Next stop, Firestone Country Club, because Zach Johnson didn't survive anything. He destroyed everybody, winning the Cowler Company's championship by 6 shots, finishing at 15 under, 265 after a final round 68. It was his first senior major championship and his third victory of the 2026 PGA Tour champion season. He began Sunday with a 4-shot lead after shooting a third round 63. He then bogeyed 2 of his first 4 holes. And for maybe 10 minutes, everybody in the field was thinking, hey, maybe we've got a chance. They, in fact, did not have a chance. Nobody made a real move. Nobody applied any kind of sustained pressure on him. Nobody forced Johnson to do anything dramatic. He settled down. He controlled the tournament, and he walked away from the field. Then, just to make sure that everybody understood the message, he chipped in from about 20 feet on his final hole. Why not? Let's put an exclamation point on this thing. The tournament was already over, but Johnson had to add one final punch before collecting the trophy. Boo Weekley shot 66 and finished second at 9 under. Rory Sabatini also closed with a 66 and finished third. Stuart Sink shot a 68 and finished fourth, maintaining his position atop the Charles Schwab Cup standings. But Johnson's major victory changes that season-long race. 3 wins during a rookie season on the Champions Tour, including a major, means that Zach Johnson isn't simply enjoying senior golf. He is becoming one of the tour's biggest problems, and he might be becoming, maybe as some predicted or expected, one of Stuart Sink's closest competitors. Because Stuart Sink owns that tour right now. The victory also earned him a place in next year's Players' Championship, giving him another chance to test himself against the younger generation. And this win carried a little extra weight because it marked Firestone's farewell as the host of the event. Professional tournament golf has been part of Firestone's identity since 1954. Yes, that's before I was born. Barely. The course has hosted a generation of stars, major moments, World Golf Championships before transitioning to the PGA Tour Champions. Beginning next season, the event moves to Newport Beach, California. Why? Money. It's all about money. The tournament is losing its sponsor. The new sponsor wants it local. Nothing against Newport Beach. It's just I feel like we're losing a little bit of history here, and that is a shame, especially with what we have going on the PGA Tour with their split field format coming up. We're going to have the same thing happening over there. We're going to lose a lot of stuff, and I don't like it. I don't like it. So Firestone needed a final champion. Zach Johnson gave the course a proper one. No collapse, no controversy, no fluke. Just a 6-shot beatdown from a 2-time major champion who clearly knows how to close on his new tour. And then finally, boys and girls, let's talk about the ISCO Championship. I told you 4 championships, 4 winners. Absolute chaos this weekend. Stephen Fisk beat Taylor Pendrith on the 3rd playoff hole after both players finished regulation at 16 under, and this playoff wasn't a birdie festival. It wasn't 2 guys trading 25-foot putts while the crowd lost its mind. It was tense, it was awkward, and almost entirely about not making the first fatal mistake. Taylor Pendrith looked like he had the advantage on the opening playoff hole when he hit his approach inside 10 feet. Fisk found the greenside bunker. Pendrith missed his birdie putt. Fisk escaped and saved par. On the 2nd extra hole, both players missed the green. Nobody wanted to win this thing. Fisk had to scramble from 93 feet away. Pendrith had to scramble from 92 feet away. Both survived. So what do? You go back to the par 4 18th for a 3rd time. Fisk made his 3rd consecutive playoff par, while Pendrith finally blinked and made a bogey. Tournament over. Fisk won without recording a playoff birdie. He didn't need one. Sometimes par is a weapon, I guess. It was for Stephen Fisk this weekend. He earned $720,000, a 2-year tour exemption, and his 2nd PGA Tour victory because, yes, it counts as a PGA Tour victory. After winning his first, the 2025 Sanderson Farms Championship, he opened the week with a 63, followed with rounds of 66, 68, 67. That's pretty consistent. He wasn't flashy. He didn't do anything out of the ordinary. He just kept surviving. Remember we talked earlier, sometimes the winner, you just have to survive while everyone else around you explodes or implodes, as it were. That's where Stephen Fisk was. Pendrith will probably replay that birdie attempt on the first playoff hole in his head, if he hasn't already, about 1,000 times. He had a clean opportunity to end the tournament, and he could not convert. Ben Silverman and Aaron Wise finished 1 shot back at 15 under. Lucas Glover, who had carried the lead through Friday and Saturday, closed with a 71 and fell to a tie for 5th. But the other major storyline here was Jackson Koivun. Koivun was making just his 2nd PGA Tour start since turning pro, yet he entered the tournament as the betting favorite, which sounds completely insane. Then he started charging. He reached 13 under and pulled within 1 shot of the lead before bogeying the 17th. His title run ended there, but he still posted 4 rounds in the 60s, 67, 68, 66, and 67. You want to talk about consistency? Koivun didn't win, but he certainly showed exactly why the hype machine is already in overdrive for him. He looks comfortable, maybe too comfortable. He nearly stole the tournament. Stephen Fisk stole the trophy. I will tell you this, the Jackson Koivun beginning to his pro career gives me a little bit of shades of Ludwig Oberg when he first went pro out of Texas Tech. I did not look like a rookie. I mean, these guys, again, have been in these situations before, but when there's money on the line, it's different. There was no money on the line when you're an amateur playing in these things. Jackson Koivun doesn't look like any of that bothers him whatsoever. I expect really, really good things to come from Jackson Koivun here in the future, in the very near future. Before we get into our closing comments here, let's listen to the great John Gerber, as he's not with us live. But, of course, he had to record his thoughts on how his picks went this week. What went right, what went wrong, had a couple of winners. For those of you that are following along, at J. Gerber PGA Pro, as he gives his, on our Wednesday previews, always gives his winning picks. And let's find out right from the horse's mouth. Oh, sorry, Johnny. No, you're not a horse. Straight from Johnny's mouth, what he thought went right this week and what he thought went wrong.
What is up, everybody? This is a Monday recap of the ISCO Championship, and the Scottish Open. Man, what a week. What a week we had. I wish these golf tournaments were 54 holes. I do. And we've been battling this all year in terms of looking so good going on Saturday. But Sunday just doesn't work out for us. I can't figure it out. We were looking like peaches and cream right there going into Sunday with both ISCO and the Scottish Open. I was down in Louisville covering the ISCO all week. I had a really, really good pulse to the championship. We did cash in a couple tickets, but at ISCO, and profitable on that side. But we had a big card this week with the Scottish Open, sitting there with Robert McIntyre having an opportunity to win that, to get us one winner. Looking at the leaderboards, man, we had one of those rare double doubles that we hit a couple years ago, that we won both the alternate field event and the regular event. And man, I thought we were going to do it again this year with Bobby McIntyre leading going in the fourth round, decides to shoot over par. And then as we no cashing tickets there, but as we transfer over to the ISCO, we did cash 2 tickets, with Tom Hoagie and Mackenzie Hughes finishing then in that top 10 to make it profitable for the ISCO. But if you look, man, we could have had a monster week. Steven Yeager we had as a winner, decided to shoot over par. Chan Kim, I don't know what he was doing, but 6 over par on the final day does not get it done when you're trying to win a PGA Tour event. But again, we did lose a little bit this week. We lost 360 units. That gets us minus 820 for the year. Listen, we already know. Not a good year. Not going to sugarcoat it. It's just what it is. It's the hardest year we've ever had when it comes to handicapping golf, and it continues. But again, 54 holes. Man, I wish the PGA Tour would change 54 holes. But minus 820 for the year. We are no matchups this week just because of the weather and the changing, but we're still 32, 17, and 8 on our matchups. But again, minus 820. I don't know whether to say sorry, bad luck, devil's chasing us, what's going on. But we do have a bounce back week this week. We do have another dual field event with the British Open going on, and the tournament down in the Dominican Republic. So again, another double dose, a heavy card. We will have 1,600 units out there at the beginning of the week, and hopefully some matchups. So looking forward to that. Hang in there with us, guys. Again, we are minus 820 for the year. After a disappointing week, losing a little bit at ISCO and the Scottish Open. But looking forward to this week. You can catch us as always on Wednesday, 5 o'clock Eastern on Front of the Rough from my man Tim Hamm. Going to finish it up for you. So have a great next couple days, and looking forward to Wednesday.
Yeah, Johnny doesn't know what time his own show is on. It is, in fact, 6 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Central. I'm sure he just Freudian slip, misspoke there. With all that he's got going on today, it's understandable. But, yeah, we are live every Friday. See, I don't even know when my show's on, apparently. It is a preview Wednesday, 5 o'clock Central, 6 o'clock Eastern. It is a recap Monday, 5 o'clock Central, 6 o'clock Eastern every week. Normally we are together doing these things. Again, golf takes priority over the show from time to time. Speaking of golf taking priority, boys and girls, need to remind everybody, if you are looking for smart professional golf management solutions that take your course to the next level, visit OrionGolf.com. Your partner in streamlined operations, improved player experiences, and next-generation golf course management. From scheduling and membership services to event coordination and strategic business solutions, Orion Golf helps facilities run smoother and more profitably every single day. Orion Golf's team understands what it takes to grow your rounds, build loyalty, and elevate your golf brand. Whether you're a course owner, director of golf, or part of a club leadership team, their customized management tools and expert support are built for your success. That's OrionGolf.com, where golf management meets real results. Visit OrionGolf.com today and discover why better golf starts with better management. Thank you, Orion Golf. So what did we learn this weekend, boys and girls? Tom Kim is back in the Open Championship field, should probably pay attention. Haeran Ryu proved that major championships aren't always won with your best golf. Sometimes they're won by refusing to disappear. Zach Johnson reminded everybody that precision, patience, and experience can still produce a full-scale demolition, and Stephen Fisk demonstrated that you don't always need a heroic birdie to win a tournament. Sometimes you just have to keep making par until the other guy can't. So that's where we are, and that's going to do it for today's From the Rough right here on FanStream Sports. Appreciate everybody tuning in for my solo show. We have a lot of fun on these, don't we? Johnny doesn't know what kind of fun he's missing when we go solo here. Johnny will be back on Wednesday with me to talk about the British Open / Open Championship and the split-filled event. And I'm sure he'll remind me everything I got wrong on this show, and that me attempting Tom Kim's 200-yard low draw with a 4-iron is probably a terrible idea for anybody who pays full price for golf balls. I am IndyCarTim. Subscribe, follow, and share From the Rough wherever you get your podcasts. And find more golf coverage always at fanstreamsports.com. Until next time, boys and girls, y'all keep hitting them straight.